Ken?
Just, Jesus.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just wait. I'm trying to get the. There we go. What's up?
Something works. Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Um, I decided to switch up the heading for you to get confused.
What are we talking about?
No, so it's actually the same thing, man. But I wanted to start off with because I was asking myself, it's like, how is it? When was the day that the guy from East London um got caught?
I think, I can't remember. But maybe 3 days ago, 4 days ago. I can't remember exactly.
And how's the story now? Is it dying down?
The what?
The
The
story.
story.
Hmm.
To be honest, I haven't really been following it too much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. No one really has, I guess. Then, or if anyone, a few. But the
Yeah.
reason. So I was asking myself something about that, like whenever you get these tragic things that happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then and then and then I always ask myself, like, why does it always, like, when it happens, it's a massive thing, and then, like, 2 days later, 3 days later, no, it's gone. But then the case is still on,
Yes. I
right?
think it's postponed till September or something.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still
Yeah.
on, and then
Yeah.
you have, like, bursts of this happening where the immediate thing happens, and then boom, it's like you hear about it all the time, and then you hear about it only after, say, when the case is on, and then boom, again it happens, and then you hear it after sentencing, boom, and then it happens, and then after that it's like, cool, everyone back to normal again until something else happens. And then, like, the in between things that are happening are then filled in with everything else that gets fed to you. So perhaps, like, now it's like there's this whole vaccination versus non-vaccinated people, and that's like in between the two booms of the trial of the case, and then
Mm-hmm.
after that it's going to be the next thing that comes up. Um, maybe black versus white, or how it is, the whole either gender thing or racial thing or political thing, anything that pops up that makes the one side versus the other, you know
Yeah.
so
I think,
yeah.
okay. Because
No,
I
go
was
for it.
gonna say, I think it's more like, for example, with the case of that you mentioned, I think the media will pick up on it when it's like fresh and happening, and so the rest of the country, for example, will hear more about it for a few days. But then it's like actual people that live in the area, or the students that were student with the girl, that would still feel it for much longer, because
Yeah,
they for us it's like, oh, this is happening, and then it kind of disappears after a few days. Well, not disappears, but like it's not as hyped and the latest news.
yeah, for sure. So then that then goes into, okay, so if I was a journalist, right, and I want to sell something, whatever it is, right, I'm gonna try to sell the hottest topic, right? And
Mm-hmm.
generally, the hottest topic is always going to be something that's going to get a reaction from people, normally negative reaction, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why you never hear about the time where um, a guy helped a woman out with her tire, for example, right? Or a guy helped a woman out with carrying her bags from the grocery shop all the way to the car, right?
Yeah.
or or when a guy was racist towards another guy, that someone else of the same color or different color helped him out to kind of resolve the situation. You never hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
You always hear about the racism, or the conflict that happens, because that sells a story, right? So as a journalist, you have something, or as a journalist or someone that's in media, you have something to sell. And the best things to sell is normally things that get people riled up, right? And then if it's going to be things that get people riled up, the nice thing that you can do is you can always have one versus the other, right? So, for instance, you can have situations where it's males versus females, right? Because then you have two opposing sides, and yeah, you get them to fight, or get them to argue, and then boom, you have something to sell. Or you get black versus white, boom, 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 you get them to fight, fantastic, perfect. There's conflict. Or you get vaccinated and non-vaccinated, boom, get them to fight, perfect, right? It's like an Olympic kind of team that's being played. And I remember saying this before, but it's like a tournament, right? And then you have after that, then you have say um, religious people start to fight, and you have the religious and non-religious, say Bushiris versus the non-Bushiri, and then you have the other pastors versus the other pastors. And it's as long as you have a versus everywhere, right? Then everything works out because then you sell, right? But not only that, it's that the fact that because it's a job, you don't even have to believe in the stuff that you write. You don't have to believe that I want to be vaccinated or not. You just need to sell something, right?
Yeah.
It's like working in marketing as well. It's like if you don't have to care about Adidas at an Adidas shop, you just have to sell Adidas. You can be wearing Nike for all you get, right?
Yeah.
So this is where things get interesting, because there's a lot of people that then advocate for all these things, right? That's tough for you as a person to know when someone's actually really advocating for this, as they believe it, or they're doing it as part of a job, right? So you get problems like that with politicians, for example, where someone will push a narrative to say, look, I care about women, and I care about feminism, and I care about black people, and I care about the dispossessed, and I care about people that are sick, right? And then you say, oh yeah, fantastic. You want someone like that in power, right? You take that person, you put them in power, and they go and they say, okay, we're gonna fight for the equality of women, for example, right? And they go through and then they fight for that, and they fight for that, and they fight for that. And after 5 years of fighting for that, now they have the job, now and they're in the seat. And then they think, you know what, actually, I don't think women are that dispossessed, right? And deep down, I actually think it's men that actually are dispossessed, right? And not just perhaps men, but a large proportion of men and a large proportion of women are not dispossessed, right? They're actually privileged, right? But now here's a conundrum: is that you're now in a seat whereby you're occupying, that's feeding you to only think that women are privileged, right? And to only drive that, right? So what do? You wake up the next day, you say, as much as I might believe the opposite of what I'm doing, it's a job, and I need to get what I need to get. So I'm just gonna push whatever I'm pushing, right? So the people that are following you still get fed the same things that that you've been feeding them, because that's what your job is, right? And then they're only going to believe that whatever you're saying is the truth, because that's what they trusted in. That's what they put you there for to begin with. You get the same thing with, say, like this body positivity stuff, right? It's like, yeah, body positivity all the way, and then tomorrow you're like, actually, I really couldn't care for it, but now it's my job. I get paid for it, right? I feed my family off it. So me changing my mind or advocating for something else means that now I lose this job. And if I lose this job, then I can't support my family. If I can't support my family, then I'm a nobody. So I'd rather just keep it going, right?
That's the thing with media. I think if you look at the media and think that it is there to advocate for you, already you're starting yourself up to you're gonna be disappointed because their job is to push a story. So whatever a story is for the time, they're pushing that. So it's not about, they don't have you in mind, like in terms of
Oh,
like, okay, we are standing up for this person. So it's like, okay, this is the story we're pushing, and the more viewings they get, the better. So you should always
perfect.
have that like in mind to say, okay, these people are gonna cover this, not because they care anything about it, but it's a job, and
Yeah.
somebody needs to get paid, and therefore, it's what they will do. And also, like you
Yeah.
touched on the influencers, like social media and stuff. It's like, I'm like, if you don't think about it too much, like, and think that the person that's there is like thinking about you also there, it's very disappointing for you eventually, because again, they're pushing their own thing, they're getting their work done, get their paycheck, and then keep moving. So for you to think, this person really cares about me as somebody else that's like, following them or whatever, it's a bit naive, I think. And um, even if it's like an activist of some sort, like you always have to check, like, what's this person's, what's pushing them to do what they're doing? Are they doing
See,
it, for fame even, or really genuinely because they care about this topic or this. So it's very hard also to figure out someone's motives because it can be so hidden, but they know, like, am I really doing this for the people, or I'm just doing it for the paycheck, you
yeah.
know?
It's true. And the thing is as well is that everyone at some point has some sort of benefit to what they're doing. Because if they didn't, then they would, right? So it's like
Yeah.
even if you care so much about the dispossessed, right? And then you get, let's say you care about the dispossessed, and then you get a job from it, right? And now you're speaking about the poor people, and you're trying to advocate for them, and you're doing whatever you're doing. You get a certain sense of happiness or gratitude when someone that's poor then can move on in life. So it is a personal benefit that you do it. Otherwise, if it made you angry and mad, you wouldn't do it, right? It just so happens now that whatever you're doing, right, you're getting rewarded for it. So it's just, you might say it is a bonus, right? But now the problem is, again, is what I'm saying is that now to what, because everyone will have a price at some point, right? Well, most people, it's a very rare person that you can't put a price on them, right? So then when you
Yeah.
think about it, you think, well, let's say now you take this job away from this person. Do you think they will still be advocating for you as much as they are doing now?
Well, that's
And
the
that's
real
always,
test, isn't it?
I can't hear you.
Because I'm saying that's the real test, isn't it? When like someone is getting paid for something, and then, can you hear me?
Yep. I can't hear you.
Really? What about now?
Okay, let me start. Let me go back off.
Okay.